Hi, welcome to Braun Dialogues. Hi. Bye.
Yay! Aloha! Can everyone hear me today? Raise your hand if you can hear me. Oh, someone's talking to me already. Oh yeah, there's a hand. Okay, thank you. Thank you. Okay, so let's go to my peeps. There's my peeps. And my peeps questions. Oh, let's check the camera. How's our camera? Okay, that's good. Yay. Just came out like that. That's perfect. Okay, I got hands. Aloha. Okay, so I'm lowering your hands because that was for that question. If you'd like to speak with me, please raise your hand. This is a continuation from yesterday where I had some really fun questions and I was excited to be answering them. And then I had another commitment to go to the store with my beautiful boy, Ron.
Me.
That guy right there. Yeah. All right. Here's the questions. This is fun. So the one we answered yesterday, that was, can you explain the relationship between Holy Spirit, ego, consciousness, and the dream that is the world? So that was really fun, and I'm really excited to hear what she's asking next. Woo! Okay. The person who wrote this, I forgot her name. No, I know her name. I'm not sure if she just wants to be anonymous or not. All right. Why are we experiencing some, quote, people as open to this type of inquiry into our existence and others as deeply entrenched into the belief of the illusion of the world, like if some parts of the one consciousness of we are one? Okay, I really got how that goes in there. Why does the awakening seem so slow or non-existent in some, quote, people? I love how she's putting people in quotes. And so basically, what is being perceived is the effects of thought, the effects of thought in consciousness. Okay. And they're playing out. They're playing themselves out. What we perceive of another person, I like how she puts it in quotes, what we perceive of another person is actually for a feeling. If we see, okay, if we see that everything that is perceived is for our own relief, their own release, let's say, relief is the same. So relief, release. Okay, and it's not release like comparison or anything like that. It's like noticing the resistance within, just noticing the resistance within, you know. And why are we experiencing some people, you know, they're just arising as in like a pattern of thought. The people aren't really there like that. And I love how, again, how she puts it in quotes, like she knows they're not really there like that. They're showing us something that we want to see. Okay. It's not like they're separate. They're showing us something that we want to see. That is, if it's, you know, talking about it in terms of inquiry, basically that's consciousness giving us exactly what's necessary to see through whatever kinds of beliefs, unconscious beliefs, need to be seen. And you know what? The thing is that the unconscious beliefs are not personal. They're not personal at all. We've asked to see the unconscious beliefs. We've asked to know what it is that is arising in the mind, what it is that we've been attracted to, what we've been taking is true. That's how it gets healed. Okay? So there's not really delusional people. There's not really people entrenched in the illusion. We can only have a perception of what we want to have a perception of unconsciously. We can only have that perception because it's something that's healing. There's nothing that's not healing. Talking about that in Wisdom Dialogues on Monday. There's nothing that's not healing. Whatever it is that's arising, that's for healing. You know, it could be used to make up more suffering, like projecting, as in those that means something. Since I'm experiencing people that not open, that must mean that I'm not open somewhere. Where am I not open? And it's not. There's not an I like that. See. It's just experiencing the experience, and if there's resistance to it, it's sort of like communicating with it energetically. Just the whole experience. It's not something that anyone else can see. It's not something that you can really show. It's an inner experience where there's a fluctuation. Say the experience of people not being open, and there's experiencing that fluctuation with an openness, you could say, just experiencing that fluctuation like that. It's funny because it's all projection. It's like, okay, if this question is coming up, even as to why are we experiencing people as not open, if this question is coming up, it's already an indication that it's not openness to that experience. There's a closed offness to that experience, to experiencing people as that. See, that's why it's coming up as a question in the first place. So it's always like pointing back. It's like that person is not open, and that thing about 3 fingers being pointing back at you. But it's not really you like that because it's not personal at all. It's just pointing to the unconscious mind, which is not personal. And you could say we've asked to experience the unconscious mind so that unconscious beliefs can be seen. Because once they're seen, they're gone, they're dissolved. Sort of like turning a light on in the dark. It's not like they have to get chased out. It's not like they have to get cleansed or anything like that. It's just sort of like turning a light on in the dark, and it's gone. No problem. Okay, all right. I rarely experience bad things happening to me personally. And while I witness the world, I don't have too much aversion to the bad things that happen because I do understand that nothing is happening. However, where I get tripped up is when people I am close to, who I love very much, are caught up in their own suffering and then try to recruit me to feel the way they do. And they get mad when I don't. If I try to explain why I don't feel bad about it, I'm accused of being cold and without compassion. That is awesome. Wow, thank you. By writing this, I think I can trace this very complicated way ego is trying to get me to feel guilty. So can you say something more about how to be compassionate and loving without buying into the pleas of suffering by those whom I love? Oh, what a great, wow, great question. Really good. Okay, so I witness the world. People I'm close to, I love very much, are caught up in their own suffering. And she put own in a quotation marks, which is great because, like I said, the other person isn't really there like that. What's being perceived as their own suffering is actually a projection. It's like it's like I made that perception of that person so that I could get this feeling, because through this feeling comes relief and release from mental imprisonment. See, that's why people are saying we're all serving each other. We're all serving each other. It's like whatever I see in you is kind of like a script that I gave you to show it to me. Show me that. Show me that. Okay. So there's a resistance that comes up in it. When we're talking about their own suffering, that's like kind of like a wall It's kind of like a wall that goes up, and it's like I'm not responsible for this. And in a way that's right. Is that you're not responsible, like, for making it appear like that, but it's like you're responsible for your reaction to the perception. You're totally responsible for your reaction to the reception, to the perception. And and this is a different kind of responsibility though than you might think. It's like it's kind of like it's just a responsibility for meeting it as it is. Just for meeting that perception as it is. So if it's like their own suffering, that's a story about something. That's not it. That's just a story. So it doesn't really mean anything. It's kind of like something talking in your ear that's saying lies. Oh, that's their own suffering over there. Okay. And then they recruit me. Okay, this is big. They cannot say anything to you without your authority. They cannot say anything. They cannot use their energy in any kind of way toward you without your authority. It's kind of like a script that you handed to them. Okay. It's like and this is fun once it's seen the way it is. It's like you say you understand nothing is happening. You understand nothing is happening. Apply that to they try to recruit me. See, they're actually like reading a script that you gave them. Hey, play with me like this. Pretend to try to recruit me to feel shitty with you. And then get mad when I don't want to do it. And get mad at me when I start telling you about why I don't feel bad. So what people are asking for is always love. And love is sharing. So when someone comes and are caught up in suffering, like you say, there's someone coming caught up in suffering. This is an aspect of subconscious mind arising as a thought form in the field of perception. Okay, talking about their own suffering and why don't you suffer like I do? They're asking to be met. They're asking to be met. They're asking for you to share the experience. So someone's coming up and they're talking about, oh, and this happens in my experience all the time. Someone will come up and talk about, and it's like you can sense what's being felt if it's allowed in. See, what happens is these judgments come up that are like philosophical judgments about why, they're suffering. They don't need to suffer. I'm not going to suffer with them, whatever. And the thing is, you don't have to suffer with them. Don't have to. But see, it's like this trying to get out of suffering with them is making suffering for yourself, because that's suffering to kind of feel like I'm trapped in this, or where I get tripped up, that's making the suffering. See? So it's like when there's just, oh, I can't believe it. My boss is such a dick. I could get fired, and man, doesn't he know that I need really, just some real delusional stuff coming at you, and the person is obviously whatever. In my experience, the way the relating happens, and it's not by a choice either. It's just by watching. If you're watching your own aversion, see? And it's funny because you said I don't have too much aversion to bad things, but there's definitely a aversion to other people's suffering. The idea of it, anyways. There's an idea of it, but it's not really an aversion to it. Okay, so when there's an aversion to it, there's not meeting with that person. There's not the sharing like that. There's not the sharing that's shared between awareness, like awareness to awareness through consciousness sharing. See, but first that has to be received before it can be shared. First it has to be received. So it's a matter of watching the aversion, noticing what is feeling adverse, and allowing that comfort to come in, allowing that comfort, that peace for that, which is automatic when it's just met the way it is. And there's kind of like, you know, what I hear a lot in my own experience is like, it's okay. It's okay. Nothing is wrong. And that's the thing. It's like when someone comes up to me in my own, you know, in my own experience, someone comes up to me and they're like, oh, they're so caught up and, you know, feeling so bad. It's like I could sense that they're not feeling well. And that same, you know, it's okay that comes for me comes for them. And maybe not in those words, you know, they may not want to hear it's okay. But inside, it's kind of like it's okay. It's okay. And let them and hear them and listen to them, you know, and feel with them. See? The aversion to other people's suffering, even the question about it, even the attraction to that question is kind of like a wall. So there's also, you know, a period of a willingness to go through the experience without being able to share. Wow, oh, wow, I can't even share. I can't even share love with someone when they come up and they're suffering. They're showing me suffering. When they're showing me suffering, I get completely closed off. Wow. When someone's showing me suffering, I can't, the reaction happens inside of me. And because of the reaction that occurs inside of me, and because that reaction isn't getting what it's asking for, isn't getting the love. See? Look at what's reaction. Well, what's reacting? Look at what's reacting. It's like a child mind. It's a mind that feels separate. That's what's reacting within. That's what's reacting to the person that seems to be without, that seems to be suffering. That is suffering within. That reacting. And you know that there is a reaction within you, and you know you've lived through that reacting by their reaction to you. So if you're saying that they get angry with you, oh, thank you for letting me know. Because now I know that I was living out of a reaction. That's just the way it is. And it's so easy like that because nothing's wrong with living out of a reaction. Nothing's wrong with it. It's gonna happen until it doesn't happen anymore. It's gonna happen as long as it needs to happen, apparently, because nothing's happening. Okay? It's only an apparent happening. Let's say it this way. It's gonna be the experience as long as it needs to be experienced. Okay? And as soon as the choice is made because it's seen, the choice is made because that's recognized, then it doesn't need to happen anymore. It doesn't need to even apparently happen anymore. Because the experience isn't necessary. Yes, I've had the same thing with, I'm accused of being cold and without compassion. I've had this experience, and I've had one fairly recently too. You know, I was communicating with this woman, and she asked me, she said, well, you're so good at making money. Tell me how to make money. I want to know how to make money. So I started talking about gratitude, you know, and oh, she did not take that well at all. And, you know, I was just kind of like, okay, thanks for letting me know. You know, and then she came back and she said, well, okay, well, I want to talk about this, and this, and this. And it's like, no, thank you. See? No, thank you. It's all self-talk. It's all self-talk. See? It's like I asked her to say that to me. I asked her to say that to me. I asked her to show me. Show me where there's suffering in the subconscious mind, because I'm the way. It's not mine. I don't have to feel guilty about it. I don't have to like heal myself or anything. That's something that's arising in the Maya. It's okay. It's okay. I asked for that. Thank you. Thank you for showing me that. And that's enough. There's one woman who every few years she has told me that I'm the same, cold and without compassion. We'll come together again, do some stuff again. We're kind of like in the same community. And then something will come up, and you know, and it's funny because walking into it, it's like, I have no idea. Oh, I just, you know, feeling so inspired. Oh, is it about this gratitude? You know, I'm like, well, gratitude. It's like it's just like whatever is appreciated, it just seems to grow. That's all I can say when it comes to making money. But you know, that's not well taken when someone is so deeply entrenched that and so fearful that that sounds like to them that I'm saying that you're doing it wrong. So awesome. Thank you for letting me know. See? No need to resist that. And no need to continue the conversation either, unless that's inspiring to you. Okay. Lastly, I understand the food I put in my body does not matter because there is no real food and no real body. However, if I eat animals, does that perpetuate the illusion of of a being causing suffering to another? Okay. Because in this current dream, the eating of an animal requires the perception of death, which is depicted as a cruel and painful process that causes fear in the animal. So, does eating animals perpetuate the belief in death, fear of death, belief in separateness? Okay. Nothing that you seem to do, I almost said it's nothing that you do, nothing that you seem to do in the world can perpetuate itself. It needs you. It needs your power. It needs the power of your awareness. Let's put it that way. It needs your power to multiply suffering. You know, you could be in a war, find yourself in a war, and be killing people like crazy in the dream and seeing people die like crazy in the dream. If you understand what the perception is for, it doesn't matter. It really doesn't. If you understand what the perception is for, it doesn't matter. Okay. And, you know, here's the other thing. You don't actually have a choice in whether you eat animals or not. You don't have a choice in that. That's consciousness playing out patterns of belief. Depicted as a cruel and painful process that causes fear in the animal. Well, you know what? It's like everything's killing everything. That's kind of like in the dream, that's the way it goes. It seems as if one thing needs to lose its life for the other thing to live. Okay. It's not really true. It's not actually true. You know, there's plants too. There's plants too. And, you know, it seems like since it's not depicted it pictorially to the naked eye how afraid the plant is, that it's not having an experience of fear. And anyways, here's the other part. Every experience is an experience that is ordained. Ordained. That means the experience from the perspective of the animal is also ordained. Okay, the experience from that perspective is also ordained. There's no way of knowing what the experience is. There's no way of knowing what the experience is, but we're sharing an experience. We're sharing an experience whenever whenever there's a thought of the animal, whenever there's eating, whenever there's a, you know, because there's no such thing as time. It doesn't have to be even happening in the same time. See, doesn't even have to appear to occur in the same time. Let's remember nothing's happening. Thank you. Yay. So yeah, you cannot eat animals. You can't. That's a total illusion. Let's put it that way. No one's eating anything. No one eats anything. It just looks like that. And it looks like that to get a feeling. In your experience, you want that feeling in your experience. You know, some people get the feeling like, oh, I don't eat animals. I'm not cruel. Whatever the feeling that is. Okay, that's the feeling, okay? Other people, oh, I ate an animal. I must be cruel. That's another feeling. Other people want a feeling, and this is, I say other people, but it's really different. It's always varying all over. Every person is within us. Let's put it that way. Always varying all over the place. Other moments, it's like, it's like, oh, people who eat animals, they're horrible, horrible. That's a feeling too. It's like, you're welcome. All I can say is you're welcome. Hey, Bob.
Hey, hey, so
Yeah.
here I am. I got a hotspot at home. I can tune in the whole bit.
Sweet.
Sweet.
Welcome.
So yes, thank you. It's great to be back. So yeah, because what you're talking about kind of segues into my question.
Okay.
So there's this quote: if you don't like something, just take away its only power, your attention. So it's like there's so many horrors and atrocities in the world, what the government's doing, what GMOs are doing, what, you know, the vegans that say, you know, the horrors and abuses of animals and chickens and pigs, you know, that's why they're vegans. And they have on their Facebook site all these videos of torture of animals, why they're vegan. And
yeah.
So yeah, so it's like you know, they feel, well, it's good to expose this. People need to be educated about these horrors so that, you know, they don't buy into these corporations or whatever. But
they do. Everyone's getting what they need.
Yeah, but so now the question is, are they actually lessening the effects of this, or by the fact that they're dwelling on it, advertising it, giving their attention to it, they're giving more power to it and thus perpetuating it? So like Michael Moore, he made this movie Fahrenheit 451. He wanted to get it out before Bush was elected. This whole movie about, you know, the stupidity and the horrors of Bush, so that people would be educated so he wouldn't get elected. And then people were saying, well, he's sure to get elected now because you've given all this attention to George Bush. So, you know, the more attention you give to George Bush, the more power you give him, and the more power you'll give him to get elected. So it's like all this attention to all this negative stuff, is it actually preventing the negative stuff, or is it actually perpetuating the negative stuff by giving it the attention?
Well, it perpetuates it in the mind and in the experience of those who give it attention. But it doesn't really perpetuate like for other people. Like, it's not affecting you, let's put it that way.
Right, yeah. No animals
It has
being
no
tortured.
effect on you or anything that arises in your own field of experience.
Right, yeah, it doesn't bother me, but a lot of, you know, my friends and, you know, people are on crusades and campaigns about, you know, these horrors and atrocities.
Well, it gets your attention, Bob, and that's why you keep seeing stuff like that, because it really gets your attention. Because you like to talk about it, and you have a question about it too. You have a question about whether it perpetuates the illusions. See, so
Right.
as long as it's like that, it's kind of like you're in resistance to them. So it's going to be a lot more prominent in your mind, which is your experience basically.
So basically, I'm perpetuating it by even
Yes,
bringing
you're
it.
perpetuating. Isn't that fun? See, everything that look at whenever you're pointing a finger, this is something that kind of got grilled in or drilled in. I don't know how to say it, but you know, that's how I would communicate like wisdom all the time. It would always be like pointing a finger. And then I realized, whoa, I'm talking about myself again, you know. So when you're saying, isn't that perpetuating? It's kind of like, just point that right back to me. Aren't I perpetuating this?
So that's just it, that I'm guilty of the very thing that I'm saying they're doing. I'm talking about these people that perpetuate.
What's with the then I'm guilty thing, though? Where does that come from? This is all for fun. There's no one to be guilty.
Yeah, well, it's just that I have to see it in myself. That's why I'm seeing it in them.
Yeah, and what you mean by yourself when you're saying yourself like that, what you mean by yourself is a structure of thought. It is not yourself. You're seeing a structure of thought. You're seeing a structure that has basically built by thought patterns pursued. That's what the structure you're seeing the structure of thought having these experience, but that's not you. See, every time you take on guilt like that, it's also making more of the same.
The fact that I said that I was guilty.
Exactly. Well, see, it's not that you just say that though, Bob. There's an energy to it. And look there's different things, like there's this little snort that happens. It's a sniff. It's a sniff. Okay? Like after you say something and there's that sniff, it's insincere.
Yeah. What did I say and then sniffed?
I forgot. But every time that happens, I've been just observing over the years. Every time that's happening, whatever you just said wasn't you. That was insincere. It's really interesting to watch that, because it's kind of like it's almost like it shuts the inquiry down. It's like kind of like an I don't know the exact words, but it's kind of like an, okay, Bob is just guilty.
Oh, it's kind of like a smug little.
Yeah.
Thing,
okay.
Like
Bob's just guilty, and then almost like it's a little boy crying about it. Almost like it's like this slap in the face, like, oh, Bob, oh yeah, right, of course, Bob's just guilty. And then there's kind of like almost like a little sniffle, you know.
Oh, like me?
Yeah, it's like, and see, the thing is, there's no Bob like that. And Bob's been being beat up by these thought patterns, because when it speaks something like that, it's being automatically believed. Being automatically believed that, oh, Bob's just fucked up. and I'm Bob. So that's really fucked up.
Okay, well,
See?
thank you.
You're welcome. Oh, I love you so much. I appreciate
Okay. Yes. Well, thank you so much for always mirroring it back to me. But that's
Okay,
but that
here's
but then
Snoop
that's
that
but then
time.
that's not me. That's just Bob the thought structure.
Yeah, see, there you go. It's like it's not like that. It's not like that. It's not like you have something to learn. It's not like you have something to do. You know, it's just that there's this little habit of believing that you're something that you're not, and in in this instant, you don't have to buy into that, and
Mm,
that's the same all the time.
mm, mm.
Okay.
Okay, I won't buy into that. There's no I to buy into it or anything.
No, 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 there isn't. There is, just let it rest. Let it be a relaxation, not something that you have to do.
Right. I'm not a
Let it be
doer.
like a release. Okay, not
Okay.
something you have to do.
All
Okay.
right.
I love you. Aloha.
Okay. See you, Hope. See you soon.
Yep, I'll see you soon. Okay, so then I have some questions from Anon. Yay, Anon, if you want to jump in here and communicate with me, I know you didn't want to be anonymous because it's right there in the public eye. You want to talk with me? Just raise your hand. Otherwise, I will go. I will go. All right. Anyone else wants to jump in here too, please feel free. Lately, there has been a lot of joy and flow in the moment, but some sense of fear about my financial well-being, especially in regard to setting up for a comfortable old age. There is some attachment to a belief that I need to set myself up by getting serious at some point about my financial future. I can't seem to take those thoughts seriously enough to actually do it, though, LOL. I do live well now and save $100 a month in a Roth IRA, so I'm doing some things. Okay, so let's look at, you're not doing anything in the first place. I can't seem to take those thoughts serious enough to actually do it. Well, here's the thing. You don't have to, those thoughts don't have to be taken seriously in order for action to happen. They don't have to be taken seriously in order for action to happen. Okay? So that's one thing. That's a belief. That's a belief. Unconsciously being believed that someone has to get serious. Yeah. I can't seem to take the, okay. I do live well now and save 100. Okay. So that's a dream that you're saving $100 a month in a Roth IRA. It's not, you're not doing that. I've experienced phases where I worked very hard and made a lot of money, but always ended up feeling resentful, like my actions were not, yeah, and that's also out of beliefs. That's coming out of belief that you have to work very hard to make a lot of money. All that coming out of the belief, it's a total setup for suffering. You know, people just have so much anxiety. They feel like they're in a box. You know, sometimes people meet people like me, and it's like, how are you able to, you know, just like be so happy? You know, and working hard isn't a problem either, because look, no one's working. It's just that they have no relationship. Working hard and how much money you have no relationship whatsoever. It looks like, it could look like that. It doesn't have to. There's all different ways it could look, but it could look like that on the surface. That doesn't mean it's true. That all that means is that there's a subconscious belief that it's true, and that's what's playing out. That's all. Okay. Doesn't mean anything about you either. You are the way. Remember that. Resentment would manifest eventually with lots of confusion and conflict. Yes, I know it. I've been it, lived it, love it. Didn't love it for a little while, but love it. Love it. Resentment would manifest eventually with lots of confusion and conflict. Yes, that's how it goes. I don't seem to be into that manifestation anymore. Awesome. Awesome. but I seem to be hanging on to it in a way. Okay, there's an I identification here. Yeah. What seems to be hanging on to it isn't who you are. And that's really big, because when what seems to be hanging on to it, when you see that that's not who you are. There's no way you're capable of hanging on to anything. How could awareness hang on to anything? There's no way. There's that you can be hanging on to anything. In a way, you're still equating making a lot of money with sacrificing happiness. Okay, so you kind of showed it, you've seen it. It's been revealed to you right here. It's been revealed to you in a different form. It came in a different form. It's like you need to get serious. I love how you put getting serious and financial future in quotes like that. Okay, actually they have no relation to one another. So just that you have to get serious, that's the same kind of, that's just a kind of like a backwards way of, if you want to make a lot of money, you have to work hard. Okay, look at hard work might arise, the perception of hard work, but even calling it hard, I mean, really, that's hard. That's identification. It's identification. What, to whom is it hard? To whom is it hard? To whom does it seem like this is too much? Or, wow, this is really a lot, or whatever. It seems like that. It might seem like that. And here's the thing. When you feel when you feel into the alignment, with who you are, and you make that like your number one priority. And basically, let me give this to you, basically what I mean by feeling into alignment. Everything is an energetic fluctuation. Everything that we can see, hear, taste, touch, think, everything. It's an energetic fluctuation. And, through the energetic body, there's communication between energetic fluctuations. There's communication through the energetic body, though. They have no relationship to each other, but through the awareness that comes through. But it's just through the awareness that comes. It's awareness that knows itself. It's awareness that knows itself. So when through the energy body, even just right now, just sitting here with my hands, and they're like this, and just feeling energy, just sensing energy. And, letting the attention go to all of the different sensations that are arising, the attention moving between the sound of my voice and the way my legs feel, the way it feels to sit on this bed, the softness of the blanket and the mattress, maybe the way my sacrum feels, or the breath. All of these things are arising in the field of awareness. All of these sensations are arising in this field of awareness. And when it's like there's not being tuned in, so to speak, all it is hyper focusing on one sensation, namely thought. It's like it overshadows the whole experience. And then it's like I've forsaken myself. It's like I've sacrificed right now. This is the only instant that sacrifice can appear to happen. And if it does appear to happen, hooray, it's a blessing. It's a blessing to be seen. It's a blessing for the sacrificing to be experienced even. I'm still equating making a lot of money with sacrificing happiness. Well, here's the sacrifice. Here's where the sacrifice of happiness comes in. It's way closer than that. Here's where it is. The thought that says, I need to get serious, financial future, right in that instant, as that thought is arising, knowing what it is, recognizing what it is, being there with it, sensing it as it is, as one energetic fluctuation within a vast field of awareness. Why is it so relevant, and who the heck is it relevant to? See? Taking that thought as if it's important or serious at all is the suffering. It's only in this instant, and it's only in this instant that the miracle of healing is available. The miracle of healing is available. Because this is not true. This is not a truth. This is not a true thought. This is not a truth. It doesn't define me. All it's meant to do is get a feeling. Okay. All it's meant to do is get a feeling. All it's meant to do is get a feeling. Huh. So what's the question about it then? If that's all it's for. Experience the experience. There is so much fun just being in the, yes, you know that. Yes. Yes. Just being in the flow. Any thought that says you need to get serious about anything is meant to get a feeling. Just for fun. Just for fun. Just to see if you can get hooked. Isn't that neat? Isn't that neat? It's like you're already in the flow. Just for a second, it seemed like you weren't. It seemed like there was a financial future. It seemed like there's an individual that might have to start getting serious. Yay. I love you. Thank you. That was wonderful. It's really great. Thanks so much. I'm also curious about the play of talking and telling one another stories about our individual selves as a main way of being together and connecting. What is up with this? It does feel cute and playful, but is there a point where there is space from this and we just exist in truth? Well, you know, you could say that's up to us. Any moment. You know, it was fun. I was having a conversation with someone, and he was telling me about how other people, and he just kept on, you know, telling me about how other people do it this way, and he doesn't think that's right, and you know, and I'm like, oh, you know, and just listening and experiencing with him and everything like that, and then there's just a point where it's like, okay, let's just notice that the idea that this is a bummer, because he said this is such a bummer. The idea that this is a bummer. And just observe and recognize that nothing ever happens. So how can it be a bummer if it never happened? And then at that point, he was so receptive because, and this goes back to the question from before, you know, about other people and their business. And, you know, at that point, he was so receptive because there had already been probably like 40 minutes passed by where he was telling me all these things about different people. And then all of a sudden, the inspiration was just there to share something, you know. That's all it is. It's just a play. Let consciousness just play it. And, you know, and it's like in allowing, you know, in allowing consciousness to just be consciousness. Consciousness to just be consciousness. Oh, that's consciousness doing its thing. That's allowing consciousness to be consciousness. And everything is already leading to what we're looking for, so to speak. What we seem to be looking for in this dream. And we just exist in, yeah, that's what it's all for. Is there, at a point, is there space from this? And that's what it's all for. That's what all the stories are, all the sharing about our individual self. That's what it's all for. And in recognizing what it's all for, it's all okay. See? I mean, obviously, like in my experience and the one I just shared with a friend of mine, that seeming amount of time, probably about 40 minutes of talking about himself and how that was shitty and this is a bummer and this, and on and on and on and on. And in just recognizing whatever seems to be resistant to that, anything that seems to be resistant to that within my own energy field is just getting all kinds of compassion because it's just allowed to be as it is. It's just allowed to be, oh, I'm upset. It's kind of like oh, I'm upset. Watching the reactions to this, watching all of the reactions. And then when something's spoken, I really can't even help it. No way, we can't speak anyways. We can only experience consciousness speaking. You can't speak anyways. So when it's spoken, it's not as if that was a choice. No. The choice is always between truth and illusion. Truth and illusion. Is there a question about whether he should be sharing this with me? Then there must be a judgment. There's a question about this, there must be a judgment. Show me. Anyone who asks to be shown will not be left in the dark. But these different questions that come from the wandering mind are just looking for another way to build up the individual. What are we doing wasting time talking about our individual selves? See, when they don't even exist. And the thing is, hey, it's arising in the field of awareness for me. There must not be a problem here. Where's the question coming from? Where's the question coming from? That isn't a question that asks for the truth right now. That's a question that asks for more illusions. Lori said there is no time to waste. Yeah, Lori. There's no, and look there's no time to waste. And here's the funny thing too. According to Jesus, it's urgent because now is the only moment. And you know what? Illusions and the dream of separation can keep on going on for what seems like eternity. It can keep on apparently happening from what seems like eternity. So it's kind of like, I could see the urgency in it too. Why not this instant? Why not in this instant? See? Watch that says, I'm curious about this and why and this way of being. It's like as if something needs to change. And that is the mantra of the ego all the time. Let it be cute and playful. What is up with this? It does feel cute and playful, but is there a point where some space from this? And yes, there is a point where there's space from that, and it depends on you, because you're the way, the truth, and the light. See, it takes fully going through it, so to speak, even though you don't really go through anything. Fully having the experience, another way of saying it, without resistance, without judgment. For how long? For as long as it's necessary. Because when it's experienced without resistance or judgment, there's no more any need to make it go away or want it to go away. Because it's not experienced in the same way anymore. It's not the same like it was. It's not questionable. Nothing's questionable. I guess it doesn't happen until it just does. So enjoy the play. Yes, exactly. And see, and enjoy the play unfolding in the moment. I'm so happy that you asked these questions because they're very pertinent and they come up a lot. And a lot of people don't see that behind the question, it's building up the self. And when you see that behind that question is just building up the self, it could be used for a very different purpose. The whole thing changes. It's like in a completely different category. What is that has a question about this? The question changes. It goes deeper. What is it that has a question about how we're relating? Shit. That's just something that's arising in this field of experience. In fact, the experience of relating cute and playful and the question about whether it's I don't know, preferred, good, whatever, the question that comes up, they're equal. They're both arising in the space of awareness equally. Equally meaningless. And equally for healing. Yay. Thank you. So if anyone would like me to elaborate on any of that or you have any questions, please feel free to join me. It's called Wisdom Dialogues because I love you and I love to dialogue with you. And if you don't want to and you just want to write your questions, I love that too. Oh, thank you. I appreciate that. Thank you so much. It's great that you took the time to put that stuff in there. I love that. Okay. So, yeah, that's why I came back the next day to get to those questions. And all of those questions have been addressed unless someone has more. You're making pie. Love hanging out with you. I love you too. Have some yummy pie. I know you will. Yeah, if anyone else has anything, I'm still chilling for a couple minutes.
Somebody's eating pie?
Maybe not for long because this guy over here, we're gonna go hang out. We're gonna do some Italian food. We're gonna do some Italian food because his birthday's coming up and we're not sure what we want to have.
Well, they open at 5.
Oh yeah, so I got all kinds of time.
Yeah.
All right, so if anyone wants to talk with me, go ahead and raise your hand and we'll go. I mean, we're good for like, I don't know, half hour, 45 minutes. If not, I'll close out. I'll start doing my closing things right now, unless I see a hand. So, Wisdom Dialogues.
Yeah, it's a thing.
It's a thing. Yeah.
And I heard that
Happens at least once a week. It's been happening more.
I heard that somebody had pie.
Yeah, Anon's making pie. We love you from me and Holly. Lori. Oh, Lori, I love you. There's her hand. Look at Lori's beautiful hand. It came up. Woo!
I can't let a wisdom dialogue go by without my voice on here, right?
No shit, because then, you won't be inspired to listen to it later.
What? What'd you say?
You won't be inspired to listen to it later without your own voice on there.
Right. Oh, there was so many questions that came up while you were talking with Bob. Well, I was thinking,
You could type them too.
when I talk with my girlfriend, when we go hiking, and
Yeah.
he does the same thing, goes into all the stories, and I do just what you do, just let her go, and then at some point, there's just a perfect opportunity, and the words just they come right out perfect.
Yeah.
It's so beautiful, and I see that I'm not doing it.
Yeah, if you're doing it, if you think you're doing it, then it makes a problem, doesn't it?
Yes, it does. And I'm open while we're walking. I'm open and saying, show me, show me, show me where,
Yeah.
yeah. And there's a time to be quiet and a time to blat it out.
Yeah, and you know, and it's like, and it's like consciousness knows the exact right timing.
Yes. Yeah.
And
Yeah.
and even if it seems like it's the wrong timing, it's always the exact right timing because that's what needed to be seen, the wrong timing part.
Exactly.
It's like it's always and see the thing about it not being personal, it's not like you're afraid of a perception of wrong timing.
Right.
That's
And
okay too.
it can't be wrong.
Exactly. Exactly. That's always a judgment that it's wrong timing in the first place. It's like every single thing, there's nothing that's out of place. Every single thing that arises, it's for healing. And it's not for healing you because you don't need to be healed, but it's for healing, which is the same as reinterpretation.
Reinterpretation.
Mm-hmm.
Beautiful. What are we healing? Holly says, what are we healing?
Well, that's why I said it's the same as reinterpretation. It's the same as correcting a mistaken belief.
Right. Thoughts that are not right.
Yeah.
They're not true.
Yeah, because it's like the unhealing, which is not real. It's an illusion. The unhealing, which is not real, makes illusions of suffering. See, the unhealing in the mind basically attacks in the mind, thought systems that attack you in the mind. They make illusions of suffering.
Suffering, right?
Yeah. So the illusions of suffering are really pointing back to its cause, which is in the mind. It's not pointing at me or you. It's pointing back to the subconscious mind that caused it.
The beliefs that are dormant.
Exactly. And you, as the way, are, want that because that's what it's for.
Right.
Because as the way, I got it. You flip the switch, right? You're the one with the finger on the switch, so to speak. Oh yeah, I'm in charge. Holy shit. Just not how I thought, That's all. Like the way Jesus would say, you have dominion over the world. That's not just like, or I don't know what people think that's for. I don't know what people interpret that to mean, but it's pretty plain. You have dominion over the world, but the ego takes it as, oh, I have dominion over my body. Okay, then I'm gonna exert my dominion over my body and make it into this shape, not recognizing that you have dominion over the whole world. These things are not separate, like your body's not separate from the world. See, it's one whole thing, and it's all energetic. And getting used to sensing, like, for one thing, here's one thing that I have to share that's just coming up. Like right now, the palms of my hands are completely buzzing. Like it feels as if energy's flowing through them. And it feels like that because there is a willingness to attend to the sensations there. Put the attention to the sensations there. The through the palms, that's symbolic of healing energy. It's all symbolic. That's not really happening either. Even the feeling is an illusion. But it's like in this dream as consciousness, it's like an energy relating with energies. And you can sense all of this energy especially in the palms, especially in the palms of the hands. And even when one small fraction of your awareness is focused on, like right now, I could feel the palms of my hands and have this conversation with you at the same time. Well, one little bit of awareness is focused on any sensation like that, any sensation in the body while communicating, while doing dishes, while whatever. That is unimaginably healing all by itself.
And it
All
seems
by
when you have all those underlying beliefs, you're
Mhm.
so used to suffering that you're not aware of any of the sensation
not
because
aware of anything
right.
until it turns into pain.
Right.
And that's
But-
why pain, and that's why pain is, it's like when pain comes up in my body, I know I didn't nip it in the bud. You know what I mean by that? It's like it's like before there's physical pain, even an accident like bumping into something or something. Before there's physical pain, there are thoughts, attack thoughts, unseen, unrecognized, unnoticed.
Oh.
The physical pain is like, okay, none of that got the attention. Okay, this is next. Even if, like right now, I notice a small sensation at the bottom of one shoulder blade where it just feels a little bit tight. And even in noticing that something like that, it's just known right away what it is.
What is it?
Blamed on something. It's not sleeping wrong. It's not a workout. It's not that I'm tired. It's not da 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 da. It's the same as anything else. It's a fluctuation, and it represents something in the subconscious mind. It represents something so as soon as I just talked about that, I pointed it with my finger. I talked with you about it, and now it feels fully comfortable. Everything feels like it's flowing right there. See? But if it's like it's like, and I notice these kinds of fluctuations a lot. Sometimes they'll be even more intense. Sometimes it'll be like, holy shit, I need to go home. I am sick right now. Like all of a sudden it's like, whoa. And then it's like, oh, wait a minute. That's not what it seems to be. And it'll pass. Things just pass. Oh, wait a minute. That's not what it seems to be. Oh, I feel stiff right now. Maybe it's because I haven't been having yoga. Nope. Yoga isn't necessary to be flexible, really. It's just honesty. It's just honesty. That's all.
Yeah, this whole thing is all about being honest with yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like nothing can harm me. I'm not subject to conditions of the world. Really, it looks like that, but that's not true. Doesn't make it true because it looks like it. Everything that we can see and feel and touch and everything, it's meant to project. It's built on untruth. It's the opposite. What's that?
So it can be seen what's subconscious. Yes, right.
Exactly. It's so that the delusional belief system that makes consciousness can be seen. So everything you're seeing is a lie. So it's like how people are like, well, how can you say you're not really affected? Of course you're affected. Like if I pour water on you, you're wet. And I was like, apparently. But you don't have any authority to pour water on me without it's my authority that makes you pour water on me. In my experience, because in the experience there's just this field of experience. There's just this field of experience. That person isn't any way that I make them out to be. You are not any way that I make you out to be, except for this experience. That's just what it is. It's just for this experience. But you're just the same as you've ever been. You haven't changed.
Hallucinating.
Phoebe says everyone is hallucinating.
Yes.
Yeah.
Exactly. You can say that we took the most powerful drug. It's beyond imagination. Drugs that kind of like alter your consciousness or whatever. That's like a really weak symbol of what consciousness is. The drug, that drug.
Wow.
Total hallucinogenic.
Wow, that's cool.
Yeah, pretty fun, huh? It's like
Oh.
you smoke the pipe of separation.
Or eat the cookie of
Yeah, you ate
Oh.
the cookie of separation. You gave it power.
Yeah, I have my
You ate the cookie of separation. Yeah, and speaking of eating, you said something about feeling and eating. Yeah, it's like watch the feelings that come up around the eating. Watch the feelings that come up around the eating. I mean, not just the sensation of the eating and how it feels so good.
Mhm.
It's like it feels so good. It's that feeling of nourishment. And maybe it tastes really good, too. Usually I like the
We just
combo.
ate well, mostly me, but we just ate a sleeve of frozen Girl Scout cookies, the Thin Mints.
Oh, yeah?
It was so good.
Oh, good. I bet. Anand said the only true source of suffering is identification as the separate self. Self is always already free and enjoying the play. Yes, you got it. And that's not even a true source because it's like gone in an instant. And identification as the separate self. It's just a thought. So it's so funny. And that's why it's like when you see the source, you realize that there's no source. But yeah, it's good, looking for the source. I've heard it said before, follow the thought backward. Follow the thought backward to its cause.
Mm.
Or follow the you can say follow the manifestation backward, follow the feeling backwards, follow it backward to its cause. It's like people say it's looking within, but what are you looking within really? You're looking in the subconscious mind. You say go back this way as if you're pointing to a person. That's a little bit confusing too. We all do it. It's not just, I'm not talking about, not leaving me out of this. So it's like it's like as if this is a personal thing, but we could just as easily be pointing up or whatever because there's no distance. It's just like it's showing the subconscious mind that's not personal. That's not personal. Even in having an experience, like I talk about, if the pain comes up, it's like, oh, whatever that was, it wasn't nipped in the bud. All of that is also an experience. And, it's as you start to see where it can be nipped in the bud, that choice is made. It's like, oh, that doesn't have to go anywhere.
Mm.
That question, the whole question, it was an attack in the first place. It doesn't even need to go anywhere.
Mm. I remember when I first started this, realizing that it's the whole thought idea, that the thoughts, and somebody said to me, where do thoughts come from? I was like, oh, well, I don't know, and that just started me focusing on thoughts. And I remember following them backwards. I could isolate them and literally follow them backwards. How they built to the
how they built to that point.
Yeah.
Right.
Mm.
Yeah, how it built. That's like a pain in the body is basically thought built up to that point.
Mm-hmm.
Or pain in the body or tension or whatever. And it's like for me, in my experience, there's lots of massaging going on. And it's interesting because the more you massage the body, and I've done a lot of explorations with this, like I get 3-hour massages and stuff. And the more massage, the deeper you go, the more tension you find. It's never ending because the body is a projection of the unconscious mind. And at this moment in time, at this point in time, it appears that the subconscious mind is full of stress and tension. And there's no matter how much releasing, as long as there's a physical body, it can't be free of tension because that's what it's like built on.
Well, when I went to Spain, I was at Lisa's 10-day or 14-day retreat. It was a 2-week retreat.
Yeah.
I went and had a Swedish massage. Actually, she did 2 different kinds. and she was literally on top of me, and she was using her elbows, her arms, and the stuff she was doing. It was a 2-hour massage.
Yeah.
And she said, because I had no pain, no, she says, what did she say? Something about, I can't remember the word she used. There was nothing blocking anything. It was like, she didn't say flowing, but there was something. I can't remember. Shit. Anyway, I was like, really? I was so relaxed. Oh my God. It was the
Mhm.
best, but
Yeah.
it just happened to be.
So I'm not talking about Swedish there. I know that's awesome, and you can tell in a Swedish massage too if all the channels are working. There's like nadis and all these channels of information that are functioning and stuff like that. And then there's a much deeper where it's like pressing into, going in.
No.
There's no end to that. Not with the physical body. It's like it's built on stress and tension. It's built on that.
Hmm.
It's and see, that's the thing. It's like the body, the body, the sense of a body and it being a physical body and everything like that. And in separation, that is automatic. It's automatic stress and tension, and it's like deep. It's deep. That's what I mean. Like you have to go deep for it. And there's barely anyone practices like that anyways. There's only a few masseuses that I know. There they go. And then you see, wow, it's built out of these beliefs are just the thought of separation is stress and tension.
So the depth, I mean, are they just poking in your muscles or?
Well, it's to the fascia, the connective tissue, and all different kinds of, it's just that there's like the joints, and there's, you could say like, take like the underarm, and like taking and going way in there, further than you probably, and it's interesting because it goes really deep, and but it's all a projection. That's the thing. It's all a projection. You come over here to Hawaii and I'll hook you up with one of those kind of massages.
Oh.
Yeah, you come over here to Hawaii. It's definitely it's a different kind of depth. It's a different kind of depth.
Does it hurt?
It depends on how you approach it. See, that's the thing. A lot of people can't allow that kind of deep massage because there's such a wall. It seems like if you do that, I have to leave. There's such a wall up. If you touch me like that, I have to get out of here. My friend who massages me told me that most people won't allow her to do that underarm work. Yeah, but all the pain is really resistance, and it's really interesting because in my experience, it reveals, like I'll have flashes of insight as to what thought that is. Well, she'll be pushing and I can feel the resistance because it feels like pain, and then without looking for it, but just breathing, it's a lot to be with that kind of sensation. It's a deep sensation, just breathing with it. And then all of a sudden it'll come like a vision, like a flash. No. And it's so interesting because then it'll open, and even my friend will comment like, wow, that was awesome to experience.
No, she can even feel the open. Wow, I would love to have that done.
Oh yeah, she could feel it. She could feel the push. She could feel the deep pushing, and then the opening. And remember, let's not get stuck on form here. This is all all symbolic.
Right.
This is all symbolic. So when I go for these 3-hour massages, it's like the symbolism is there's this resistance, and it's okay. It's okay. And then there's, and she gets in deeper. She can go deeper.
In the same spot.
in the same spot, right? She'll actually feel the resistance, and there's like an and it goes in deeper.
Wow.
And it's like, and you know, it's all totally symbolic, and it's like, it just, even in that instant, it's like miracles are occurring. It's like when there's an experience of a massage, you know, and everything that's approached can be the exact same way. But you know, it really brings stuff to the surface when someone's poking on your pain, basically.
Right, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I met a Korean yoga person before, and he walked up to me in our interview, and he just immediately took his hand like this and went for my liver like that. And I was like, ow, what the fuck?
What?
Yeah. And he's like, that's not supposed to hurt.
Wow.
I went home. He's like, your liver's not happy. That's not supposed to hurt. And I went home and I told Tony, and Tony's like about ready to throw down. You know, he's like, what? He hurt you? This was like way back before I recognized the symbolism of the body. I was just kind of like, what the hell? It's like, this is actually really well known. But it's like it's almost like there's an agreement to pretend that it's not, you know.
So then you had to heal the liver, so to say?
No, I didn't have to heal anything. No, there's nothing like that. There's no body like that. Basically, the liver hurting is just a symbol. It's only symbolic of thought pattern. It's all the pain is. All the pain in the body is. Even when someone's giving you a massage and they're touching into it, it's all just a representation. So, you know, that's how consciousness moves through me in a joyful way, is having these massages and having these experiences. You know, that's one way of experiencing the pain of the thought of separation. And allowing it to be healed. I mean, that's what the healing is. It's not like, ow, she's fucking poking me. It's like, no one's poking you. Nothing's happening. And it seems like pain. But you know what you find out is what seemed like pain. It was fear. It was a fearful thought.
Just a fearful thought.
That's all it was. And you know, and a lot of the times I go back to the story where you know, I was birthing Braun, and the whole meditation that I was learning, I was meditating for a half hour a day, was for having a painless birth. That was it. It was geared toward, and the entire meditation was just about everything is going right, everything is going well. Nothing can possibly go wrong. The entire meditation was like that. And it's like, boom, painless birth. Go figure.
Painless.
And it was like, yeah, and one thing that they taught in that, and that was Braun's birth, so that was like 10 years ago almost, was that all pain is a manifestation of fear. See?
Yes, and nothing's more fearful than childbirth when you don't understand.
Yes. When you don't understand it, it's all fear, and so that's why people are screaming and stuff, and you know, it's all fear based. So like with the massage, it's like, for the most part, it's not experienced as pain. It's not experienced like that. And then pain itself isn't experienced as a regular common human experience is pain anyways. It's even when it feels painful, it's still experienced as a passing fluctuation. It's still experienced as a symbol of fear. So it's being in a place of still show me when you're like that. You know, it's like being in a place of still show me what is that fear. And a lot of the times for me, it'll just flash and that thing will be healed. Whatever it is will just be healed. Whatever kind of situation there was with a person and stuff like that. See, with Braun yesterday, when he came in here, it was interesting because when he came in here and he wanted some food and everything, and I shared the thought that came up in my mind and about, oh yeah, it's 12:30 and you're over here talking wisdom and your kid's hungry and da 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 all that stuff. And noticing afterwards, it's just when I saw my husband, I was like, yeah, for some reason, Braun thinks he can't ask you for stuff when I'm in Wisdom Dialogues. And my husband goes, that is just ridiculous. Of course I'm going to make him, I always make him whatever he wants, whenever he wants it. and it's funny because it's like that thought about my parenting comes up, right? And so I couldn't even be aware of the possibility to just say, hey, your dad can get that for you.
Right.
Yeah. It's
But
interesting.
You ended up doing that though with the tortillas.
It's always working out awesome. What I noticed is with that experience is that there was a little bit of residue afterwards. There was some residue. Do you know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
When I say residue?
Yeah,
residue.
Right,
Like thought residue. A little bit of kind of hanging around. Kind of like hanging around. So I'm like, just a little bit of victim. There's a little bit of victim in there, a little bit of and then of course the guilty consciousness, what could have been done beforehand so that there wouldn't be that interruption and that kind of stuff like that. So I'm like, whoa, something is sticky here. Something is sticky here. See? And so and it's always right now. Doesn't matter if it seemed to have happened an hour ago or whatever. It's always right now. There's a little bit of stickiness. It's always asking for the same. It's always just asking for the same. It's like a scared child asking for love.
It's
like okay. A scared child, and it's okay. It's okay. And everything shows itself. Everything reveals itself, Everything just reveals itself. It's like, oh, okay. And then in that energy, when it's revealed like that, the whole thing turns around to where it's not like a victim situation. It's like, oh, goody. When is that going to come up again? Because it will.
Oh.
See? It's like, oh, because it's always it's always an opportunity for a different way of relating, a lighter way of relating. It's always an opportunity for more fun. Let's put it that way.
Instead of going down the road of victim and guilt and all that.
Exactly. Or trying to cover it up and you only cover it up in our own mind. It's like, oh, that wasn't really a big deal or whatever, that kind of thing. It's like it's always right in this instant. So if there's an experience of some residue from a past experience, that's being experienced now. So hooray. And it's just allowed to be in the space. And then communication happens. It's like even communication with Braun happened somehow. I don't even know how it got brought up or whatever. But oh yeah, something like, when I'm in, because I was going in again today, I go, when I'm in Wisdom Dialogues, Dad can always get you anything you need. He's like, oh, I know. I just like you. I just like you and I want it from you.
Oh, I just like you. Oh.
And it's just like, oh, of course. Oh, I like you too. All right. So we're gonna hang out. We're just gonna hang out. We're just hanging out more. That's obvious. Yeah.
Yeah, those palm trees behind you speak to me.
Yeah, come on. Braun just did a video. By the way, check out Braun on YouTube. Let me see if I get it right. YouTube. Braun321. He just did a video where he just goes around our whole house. You want to see our house, our gardens, everything. He's Braun321, and for some reason I only see 2 videos. I know he posted.
Braun.
Braun.
UN. Okay. Yep.
Braun. Subscribe to his channel. I think you'll have fun on his channel because he's always just posting stuff from around here. You'll see ducks, chickens, dogs, and you know what? It's Braun's world too. You get to see his little world. That's like him walking around
Right.
as Braun and how he relates.
Did he go to the party with you yesterday? After?
No.
Oh, no.
Tony and I went.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I had a lot of fun. At one point, someone came up to me and said, I was looking around and I realized you're the youngest person at this party. And I go, well, I had pretty good odds as a 45-year-old going to an 80-year-old birthday party.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's always fun showing up as the youngest one at a party.
I like the yellow thing in your hair. That was
What?
cool. I liked the yellow thing that was in your hair.
Oh yeah, okay, yeah. That's
Was
fun
it
to
like a
wear.
scarf?
Yeah,
like
it's just a scarf. Yeah, it's just
Yeah.
a scarf. I got it in a local store around here. I really like the color.
Yeah, me too.
Yay.
Anyway.
All right. Well, I think we're done for Wisdom Dialogues unless someone else has something. All right. As always, we're sponsored by Miracle Botanicals. Amazing ass essential oils. Well, we'll put ass in there. That's just how I talk sometimes. Some of them do smell a little bit like ass.
Oh, great.
And you know what? I'm into that, and I know other people are into that too.
Yeah.
And I can give you a list. They just smell a little bit like shit. It's okay, Lori. and you know who you are if you're into that kind of thing. And I'm gonna tell you what they are, okay? So you know what to get. Valerian is one of them. Another one is oud, O-U-D, aka agarwood, A-G-A-R wood. Another one is blue tansy, just a little bit like shit in there, along with berry pie and blue cheese and just an outrageous. This has to be one of my favorite essential oils, blue tansy, right now.
It smells like shit.
There's a little bit of a shit undertone. But it's intoxicating. It's intoxicating. So top 3. Okay, I'll tell you the very top one is Valerian. Top.
Valerian.
2 and
So
3.
that like really smells like shit. Not just an undertone. It really smells.
Oh, I think it's just about every tone. But it's amazing. If you could open up to that, there's some kind of communication going on there that's like really deep. And it's not really, there's no shit in it. Okay.
Okay.
It's pure plant. Valerian is just valerian. That's all that's in it. Blue tansy is just blue tansy. And oud is just oud. And I would say blue tansy and oud are tied for 2nd and 3rd shit. But blue tansy but in a good way. I'm telling you, these are my favorites too. Well, not the valerian. You won't catch me wearing valerian, but
you're wearing this.
What?
You're putting this on you?
Oh yeah. It doesn't smell that much like shit. I mean, you have to when you put your nose up to it fresh and it's in the bottle, you can get a little bit of it, but I wouldn't put valerian on me. No, that really does have an aroma that you don't want on you, I don't think. But Tony and I, just being with each other, we've had intimate moments with only valerian on. Like we'll bring it and put it in our room and put some on us, like on our head and stuff. And and definitely it's awesome. I would recommend that. But like walking around town and stuff, people will be like, "What the hell is on you?" So blue tansy and oud are two, and they're kind of similar. They're not like valerian, but they're both known to be aphrodisiac. And the blue tansy is more, it's got a little more berry kind of notes in it. Oud has nothing berry about it. It's just deep, deep. It's known as the king of essential oils. It's the most expensive essential oil in aromatherapy that's steam distilled. And it's up there with rose. It's about, we sell a very, very small amount for $20, just like a little tiny sample. Regular size essential oil bottle, like 5 milliliters, like that, I think it's like $125.
Wow.
So yeah, if people who are into it though are super stoked. So just thought I'd throw out some of my.
Somebody into it.
What?
What would make someone be into it?
Well, there's some kind of familiarity for people. That's what I notice. There's people who have never smelled it before, and they'll just smell it and they'll feel this attraction to it. They're just like, oh, that's it right there. And that's how it was for me too. And it's real rare because it's bought up by are they called sheikhs? This looks like sheikhs, but I think they say sheikhs. They're like the Middle Eastern dudes. They like to pour this stuff on them. And that's what drives the price up really high. That they like to just pour it on them. It really does have a Middle Eastern kind of aroma. And it's very woodsy. It's actually distilled from fungus infected wood.
Oh.
Yes. It's not valuable like that for its aroma and stuff. It's not considered valuable until it's completely black.
Oh.
Okay?
Okay. That was a
and
good.
Blue tansy, that's what you can get 5 mil blue tansy for only like $35 or something like that, and we even sell it in half that size. So if you wanted to check that one out, that's a good way to get integrated into something really
Smell on.
What?
To get your shit smell on.
Get your shit smell. You want to start out with a shit smell. That's probably a good one to start with. Especially if you like blue cheese, because there's a little bit of blue cheese in there.
I do love blue cheese. I love blue cheese.
There you go then. Me too. That's probably why I'm so attracted to it. And it's blue color. It's so blue, it looks like ink from a pen.
Ah.
Yeah.
Does it leave a mark on you? Does it leave a color?
Well, yeah, like last Thursday, my silent day, I just took some of that blue tansy. I put it on my finger and I just put a dot right here on my forehead. So I had a big blue tansy dot all day long, and it smelled so good. And then the next day when I went to wash my face, I realized I was going to have a blue dot for a little bit longer.
Oh,
but it's gone now, and that was last Thursday. But it wasn't as dark anymore. It wasn't as dark anymore.
So you smelled that all day.
What's that?
You wanted to smell that all day.
Yes, I did.
Huh. Okay.
All right, it's time for me to go. My little boy's getting restless. I just use my little boy as a gauge since he's me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, thank you again.
Oh, thank you too. I'm so happy we get to hang out like this. It's awesome.
Me too.
Yay.
Love you.
All right. Oh, I love you. Okay, so next time, I think it's going to be on Tuesday at 3. If there's something that happens earlier, I'll let you know.
Okay.
Sometimes I just get really excited, like when I have these great questions. Aloha, Anthony. Thank you so much. I appreciate you joining. Yay. All right. Until next week, aloha and a hui ho.
Oh.